Distinguished members of the faculty, honored guests, family, friends, and fellow classmates, good afternoon. I'm so honored to be standing before you today. As many of you know, I'm Greek, so of course I have to start off with, if you give me any Greek word, I will tell you that the root of that word is Greek. For example, pharmacy. It comes from the Greek word for pharmako, meaning medication. And there you go. In all seriousness, the ancient roots of this word and our profession are dated back to the 5th century BC and can be found in historical records of all civilizations of that time. In fact, the inception of medicine can trace its heritage back to the practice of pharmacy. Now we gather here today as pharmacists to celebrate our induction into this ancient profession. And just as the practice of pharmacy evolved over the last 2 millennia, so have we, over a somewhat smaller time frame, 4 years. My dearest classmates, today is the culmination of 4 incredible years we've spent together. I remember exactly how I felt the first day of school, nervous and excited at the same time. Most of you recall our orientation was canceled due to Tropical Storm Faye. In retrospect, it was probably foreshadow for the turbulent 4 years we had ahead of us. Once classes began, it didn't take long to realize that we were in a graduate program. Gone were the days of studying for an exam the night before. The Health Science Library quickly became our second home. We learned all the great study spots, like the infamous Blue Room that stayed open 24 hours a day. As first year progressed, we also learned a little bit more about each other, and many friendships were formed. It became somewhat of a tradition to go out in groups of 30 or more to celebrate after a big exam of getting yet over another hurdle. We wondered why on earth we had to memorize all of those mechanisms of action and every single step of the Krebs cycle. With equal curiosity, we wondered how many cups of coffee Dr. Sloan's periodic table coffee mug had seen over the years. We learned to appreciate all of Dr. Goss's life lessons and secretly hoped that we could seek refuge at his place after the end of the world comes with all his massive iodide supplies. As graduates, we understand now that the first year, like any great foundation, was a great beginning for pharmacy. When second year rolled around, the library became our only home. We now had to learn all about the drugs, what they did, and when they were used. It was the best of times, but mostly it was the worst of times. It was a time when 18 credit hours actually meant 22 hours of lectures per week. Sleeping 6 to 8 hours was a luxury we knew no longer. We became acquainted with narrow therapeutic windows and familiar with optimizing doses. We learned to love Dr. Meldrum's bugs and drugs and the Socratic method of teaching. It went by in a blur, and I still wonder how we ever made it through. Third year, we made compounds that were pharmaceutically elegant, learned the laws of the pharmacy land, and how to correctly interpret journal articles. The pharmacotherapy class gave new meaning to shaking in your boots as Professor Munir started letting go of our hands. We regularly prayed that we wouldn't get called on, and often heard 120 sighs of relief in unison when we didn't hear our names. Fortunately, Dr. Doring stayed behind post-retirement to allow a little comic relief for the super wound-up, sleep-deprived, caffeine-overdosed students. But the truth is, it was a beautiful thing to watch each other grow and perform, both in knowledge base and everything else. By the time March arrived, we were eager to step into the real world of pharmacy. During rotations, we learned there were no more multiple choice questions and no more hypothetical patients. But I think everybody can agree that once the year progressed, we actually knew a little bit more than we thought we did, and we were making a difference in people's lives. That brings us to today. As doctors of pharmacy, we're entering the 3% of Americans who reach the professional or doctoral level of education. I don't know who it was that gave me a chance and said yes to my application, but that person changed my life forever. I not only now have a career, but a newfound passion that incorporates what I love doing while giving me the opportunity to make a difference in the healthcare of my community. You may have heard that the ancient Greeks measured the value of someone's life by asking the simple question, did he have passion? So instead of wishing you luck, I say today, I wish you to have passion. If we embrace pharmacy and let passion guide us, we cannot go wrong. We should be proud not only of ourselves, but our school, our faculty, and staff for helping us achieve our dreams. More importantly, we need to thank the people who are here today, who helped us get through the most difficult 4 years. We want to thank them for giving us the tools to succeed. Our next journey in life is just beginning, and we are honored to take those first few steps with the family and close friends by our sides. In closing, it has been such an honor to work with you for the last 4 years. I'm proud to say that you are forever my colleagues and my friends. My hope is that you leave here today not only as great pharmacists, but as great leaders and innovators of our profession. Evolve with the profession, but never forget your commitment to patient care. To uphold my tradition, I leave you with a final quote that I hope inspires you to chart a new course in your life for the journey that lies ahead. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Congratulations, class of 2012, and go Gators!
Hi, my name is Ross Cottle. I'm from the